I don't do your bidding anymore.
If I don't have the loyalty of my own son, how can I expect support of anyone else?
How can Shadow's journey in season 3 help us understand America in 2020 and also look ahead to 2021?
There's so many different ways you can look at it. You can look real deep into this. It can't be done in just the time that we have. But that journey of self-discovery, that journey of acceptance of who you are, of who everyone else is. You know, Shadow, he's got to figure out who he is this season. He's just found out that Wednesday's his father and that he's a demigod. What does that mean for him moving forward? What kind of God does he want to be? He can't do that till he figures out who he is. And once he's comfortable with who he is and what he is, then he can give to the world. You know, when you're in a relationship and two hearts make a whole, no, you've got to be two whole people to become something better. You can't give anything unless you're a full glass yourself, you know? And so that's where Shadow has to be. He has to be complete in himself and comfortable and secure, because I feel that's the problem with the world is fear and hitting out comes out through insecurities. Fear comes through a lack of education. And I think the more Shadow learns about everything and the more people learn about each other, the more accepting you can be, because we're all different. We're all from different backgrounds, nationalities, races, genders, sexual orientations, ages. We all want to get home to bed at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. Like Shadow in this season, we don't necessarily concentrate on the I and more the we, then we'll move forward.
You're just trying to draft me into this war.
In your letter to fans about the season 3 premiere, you wrote that you never thought the novel would still be relevant when you wrote it over 20 years ago. And I was wondering, do you ever wish it hadn't been so prescient?
Oh, yes, I really do. I would love to be in a 2020 and be talking to you and say, well, of course, you know, I wrote the novel, but I'm so glad all of the economic issues, all of the historic issues, all of the racial divide and the treatment of women and all of the stuff that's in that book, I'm so glad it's gone, it's historical. We're interested in it, of course, but we've come so far beyond that. I would love that. That would be brilliant. The fact that we're now in a sort of America in which some parts of the population seem to have adopted magical thinking as a protection against things, in which you're actually getting religion versus science actually happening and working itself out in front of you, and in which the religion does not seem to have noticed that it's losing, because when they all get together and sing, some of them get sick and so on and so forth. All of this is, it's much too relevant, and I really wish it wasn't.
There will never be peace along the byway, not with them.
And then I just want to talk about, you know, fans of the book really geek out over the Lakeside stuff, and they're all excited that season 3 is going there. And I guess, why is this sojourn to Wisconsin so important for Shadow?
I mean, for various reasons. He's kind of given no choice by Wednesday. He's manipulated into going to Lakeside. He thinks it's his choice until he's not given any choice. But for Shadow, he still thinks he's shunning his destiny. He's still trying to just live a normal life. When we find Shadow, he's grown his hair out, his beard out. He's hiding from the police, the FBI. He doesn't want any part of this God war and that world. He thinks Lakeside is just going to be a normal town. And yeah, on the surface, we finally see Shadow on screen with normal human beings. He's normally surrounded by gods, and he's normally surrounded by everyone that knows more than him. And now we find Shadow as the person who actually knows more than everyone else. And it's trying to keep that quiet and trying to stop his destiny from finding him, at the same time as trying to assimilate to this town and the dark underbelly that's in this town. You know, he thinks it's this great place, but once a little girl goes missing and the only thing that's changed in the town is this new guy in Mike Ainsel, Shadow Moon, has arrived, the walls start to come in and they start to think he's hiding something. But unfortunately for Shadow, it's not what they think. It's something much bigger.
What do you plan to do with that?
I'm gonna kill Wednesday.
Game on.
What are some changes from the book that you're excited to see in season 3?
I think the biggest change from the book that I am incredibly fond of is the character of Bilquis. How important she has become over the course of the book in that she is halfway between the old gods and the new gods. She's one of the old gods, and yet she actually understands that technology can make her life better. She is not holding on necessarily to the old ways. And I also love Laura Moon, who, when we met her at the beginning of season 1, was already rather dead, and who has carried on through seasons 1 and season 2, getting ever more dead and refusing to lie down and shut up. And now in season 3, she's more dead than ever. But now she's also having to learn things about who she is, about what her world consists of, and that is also taking her on a journey.
And I guess just finally, what can we learn? You know, a big thing this season is Shadow Moon going to Lakeside, and I guess what lessons can we take for our own lives from the lessons he learns there?
I think Shadow learns to open his heart just a little bit, to be less the guarded, prison, bruised Shadow that we met at the beginning of the season. He's letting people in, which also means that he can be hurt. I think that is one of the lessons of 2020, is that you have to, whatever happens, you still have to let people in.